What is going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. You definitely gonna want to watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. If you're new to the fam, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell for future uploads. Let's get right into the story. Trap life. Some people make hustling look easy. Whether they had a gift of gab to talk to people or the leadership skills to run a block or trap. It might seem like easy money, but it's not as easy as some think. When you add in certain factors, like getting clientele you can trust, keeping the product flowing for supply and demand, and keeping an eye out for the stick-up kids, same way some like to hustle and sell product to make money, it's another side of the game, where some wait for others to make the money and simply just ride them for it. It's really just luck of the draw and how you move. Some individuals never get took off because they might be a piece of a bigger puzzle, trapping for a gang or organization that have hitters or shooters to take care of the robbers if they try them. But others are freelance, out just trying to make a few plays just to keep a couple dollars flowing. But it's dangerous to be hustling and meeting up with people, especially if you are not a known figure, or if you are not in your city or stomping grounds. Now you are playing in someone else's backyard. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will take it all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee to discuss a case involving two young men who lost their lives a long way from home in a trap deal. According to sources, back in June 2017, Sergio Rivera and Jalen Morris, both 18 years old at the time, came down to Tennessee from Decatur, Michigan to link up with their homie, who we will call D. He was actually from Tennessee, but somewhere in the mix of the situation, the three friends had some grass they wanted to sell and were looking for customers, when the young lady and D would start communicating on social media. He told her he had some grass and him and his peoples from out of town were trying to get it off. Right there at the time with the young lady was 17-year-old Dion Nober. Allegedly, Dion would tell D he was interested in grabbing some of the product, but Dion told the young lady he didn't have any real money, but he did have some fake $100 bills, so he sent it in a picture to D to make it seem like everything was smooth. Dion would walk through the Montgomery Village apartments to chop it up with two of his peoples, 15-year-old Rico Cook, nicknamed Lil Rico, and the older associate, 23-year-old Christopher Johnson, who was nicknamed Money. Allegedly, Dion told the two he had a lick that was about to pull up before communicating back with D and asking how many people he was coming with, in which D said he was cool to sell to other people in the neighborhood as long as when they pulled up, they got in the car so they couldn't run off with the product. Lil Rico was Dion's girlfriend's little brother, and Money was known in the area for being a Crip. As D, Sergio, and Jalen decided they would drive to the apartments to make the sale, they didn't know what they was walking into. When the whip pulled up, according to sources, Money handed Lil Rico a gun. Then Dion and Rico walked to the car, while Money stayed on the porch of an apartment of a girl he was dealing with. Dion and Lil Rico got into the car and recognized D from social media, but did not know Sergio or Jalen. D advised the men to get into the back seat where he was sitting. As he showed the two the grass, D assumed they were reaching for the money, before allegedly Rico pulled out a gun and started shooting, hitting D in the face twice and also hitting Sergio and Jalen before grabbing the grass, and Dion and Rico took off running. Allegedly, Lil Rico gave the grass and gun to Money, who was still standing on the porch of the young lady's apartment, when he told the two keep going before stashing the gun and grass in the young lady's house. Dion and Rico got picked up in the car that was drove by Rico's sister, but D was still at the scene, and despite being shot in the face twice, the young man was still living and jumped out the car asking who shot him and trying to chase the young man through the apartments. Police arrived to the crime scene at 1:25 p.m. in the parking lot of Joe Lewis Road at Daylily Drive in the Montgomery Village apartments to find 3 victims suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 of them was rushed to a local hospital. D, who was 16 years old at the time, would survive, but unfortunately, Sergio and Jalen would not survive the shooting. One of the young men was gone at the scene, and the other succumbed to his wounds at the hospital. Local police talked to witnesses at the apartments, in which some stated they saw Lil Rico and Dion running through the complex after hearing shots. The roommate of Money's lady friend allowed police to search her apartment, and they allegedly found the gun in the attic and some pants with grass still in the pockets, in which they assumed was from when Rico ran and gave it to Money after the robbery. Some residents alleged they heard Rico running, stating he was about to be cripped, in which some felt as though that was his initiation. Police had one surviving victim, D, in which they went to talk to the young man in the hospital. He stated it was supposed to be an easy sale. He alleged he didn't know the robbers, and he remembers the one in the back seat with him, and said the young man just upped the blick and started shooting. When they showed him a photo lineup with Dion and Lil Rico in it, D quickly pointed to Dion as the one who approached the car first, and Rico as the alleged shooter. With that information and evidence from the young lady's apartment, Dion and Money were arrested and taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of murder, 1 attempt, assault, and robbery. After word got out to Rico and his family that police were looking for him for 2 hits in an attempt, they took the young man to the police station, and he turned himself in. His peoples allegedly told police not to question the young man because he had already had a paid attorney. Only 15 years old at the time, but police already had D and other people in the community pointing at Rico as the shooter. The young man was charged with the same charges as Dion and Money. The case wouldn't make it to trial until 4 years later, with the victims' families pointing out they had no idea the teens had traveled from Michigan to Tennessee and that they were not drug dealers. But evidence from the scene and everything else pointed to Dion as the one who set up the move, but Rico as the trigger man, and Money as the one who influenced the younger men and gave Rico the gun. Rico was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 attempt, 1 robbery, and other charges. The young man was sentenced to life plus 17 years at just 19 years old. Dion eventually pled guilty of facilitation of first-degree murder and received 20 years in prison. Christopher, aka Money, also was found guilty of 2 counts of facilitation of first-degree murder, 2 counts of robbery, tampering with evidence, assault, and burglary charges, and he was sentenced to 70 years in prison. Rest in peace to Sergio and Jalen. I send my prayers and condolences to their families. More of this story, watch how and where you decide to make a move. The 2 young men got caught up in a perfect storm of being outsiders coming into an environment where the 3 other men were looking for a come up. I'm not sure why Rico allegedly shot. Maybe it was a gang initiation, but their plan was over before it even started. They did everything wrong. Social media conversations, witnesses, broad daylight shootings was a one-way ticket to prison, all for some grass and to make a little name for yourself. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tub. Man, this is a crazy story, man. Rest in peace to them 2 young men. I understand they families saying they wasn't drug dealers, saying Sergio and Jalen just was good people and they got caught up because of their love for people, they trusted people. But at the end of the day, man, y'all coming all the way from Michigan to Tennessee. Don't nobody know y'all. Y'all pulling up in the projects. And I ain't saying race had nothing to do with it, but you know, in certain environments, man, when people see a Caucasian person, you know, Spanish people, they looking at it like, okay, it's a come up, you know. I don't know why they shot. That's the thing about it. I don't know why Money gave him the gun. Maybe it was a gang initiation, because obviously they got the grass and they was able to, leave the car. But before they left the car, shots went off, They tried to allegedly take everybody out. But the young man D, who was 16 at the time, he survived. He pointed the finger. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think about this story in the comments below. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's your boy Tony 2 Times. I'm out.